with Connor being out, is Gavin like taking all of the reps, or do you have maybe one of the other kickers punting too, just as like a an emergency situation, or what's that look like?
When everything kind of went down with Connor, we actually I got reached out to by a young man that's on campus here that was going to school here that was a punter, Noah Callbearer, and we brought him out for the spring. He's kind of in a tryout situation, so he's been doing the second team punting for us. Obviously, we didn't want Gavin taking every punt during the spring. That's not very healthy for his leg and all that. But Noah Callbearer is the guy that we brought in, and he's kind of in tryout mode for us for the spring.
You mentioned him a little bit ago, Dakota Tillman. If I'm not mistaken, y'all went back to maybe Georgia Southern days even. Just, can you walk us through maybe that relationship, how you've seen him grow as a coach, and maybe what role he's taken on with special teams here?
I don't know how he'll take this word. I kind of see Dakota as like a unicorn. His brother was a long snapper and actually played for me at Georgia Southern. Got to get know Dakota in that manner. But at the time, Dakota had been a high school coach, and also he'd been a kicking, punting, snapper specialist coach, and worked with one-on-one kicking. And so kind of got connected in that world as well. Knew that he wanted to get into college coaching, and he got his break at Arkansas State, went to Arkansas State as an analyst, and then got promoted to special teams coordinator. Throughout those years, we've had times to talk ball. Last year, when I was at Auburn, he came over and worked our camp, and we actually clinicked a little bit, and talked, and just kind of went through things. And I already knew it, but really sharp. The reason why I call him a unicorn is his ability to coach punters, kickers, snappers every play, bring them up, watch film, like give them immediate feedback. Like, I don't know how much that really happens in college football, with special teams coordinators. So being able to get him to come and be that, but also too, he's got experience in coordinating. He's really good with the schemes. He's really good with the fundamentals. So he's been a great sounding board for that. And again, I'll say the same thing on Coach Reinhardt. Coach Reinhardt, he's the same thing with the sounding board piece. I think we got a really good staff put together.
This might be a niche question, but I'm sure don't know details too small with special teams. But noticed, as the personal protectors on punt, Maddox Lassiter and Cody Adcock have been doing a lot of that. Just what makes them maybe good guys for that role, and what does somebody need to do to be good at that?
I think the philosophy piece at that shield is what I was calling it a shield is. You want physical guys. You want guys that's got mass, guys that can take up space, guys that got punch and can really strike people. But I also think it's important to have a little bit of athleticism back there as well. Being able to move in space, a guy's coming full speed at you instead of just catching the guy, being able to maneuver where you don't get top heavy and get lunging into it, but being able to move my body and control my body and still be physical with it and still be that guy that protects that punter. So we've kind of went the tight end route with those bodies. It could be a tight end body. It could be a defensive end body. But guys that are maybe that big skill, composition and, just being able to do things in space and still be physical.
Last time you were in here, we asked, you were one of the first coaches from outside the Memphis tree to join the staff. I mean, what is your relationship with Ryan Silverfield? How did you guys maybe know each other before coming here to Arkansas?
So early on, really got to know Coach Silverfield while I was at FAU. My first year at FAU was with Coach Taggart, and then Coach Taggart left and Coach Herman got the job. And so it was kind of a transition piece for me, and Coach Silverfield had called me and asked, to interview me for a special teams job at Memphis. And we kind of started talking and all that type of stuff. And at the time, I didn't take the job, and luckily he didn't hold it against me. Probably should have, as far as career goes, it would have been a great move to go with him to Memphis. It would have been a no-brainer. At the time, I had just moved my family down to FAU. We had gotten our kids in good schools, and I just didn't want to move them again because we'd only been there a year. So I kind of made a family decision there. But I stayed in touch with him and, constantly, bugged him, shot him text, the whole thing, and just tried to build a relationship even though we were not working together. So when he got the Arkansas job, I obviously texted him to congratulate him and, and say, hey, Coach, man, love this for you. I think that's a, big time opportunity. This is great. And, he shot me back and said, hey, you want to talk about special teams? And so we got on the phone and Zoom and did a little interview and talked and all that, and it ended up working out. So again, not taking the job the first time, he didn't hold it against me, and I'm super excited he didn't. And I'm glad that now I have the opportunity to work with him. He is the real deal. He's done an awesome job with our team. He's doing an awesome job with our culture, doing an awesome job with our staff, and I'm learning a lot. And and that's all I want to do is I want to continue to grow, and I want to help the head coach. So super excited about this opportunity.
Now, the two guys you first mentioned, at least for punt return and kick returns, Smith and Hawkins, are impact starters potentially. I mean, do you envision a lot of first-string guys are going to, whether it's gunner or blocker or trying to rush the punter? I memean, what's Coach Silverfield allowing you to do maybe with starters at the special team spots?
Well, we are obviously going to be very smart about it. You want to build a core group of guys that play teams. So you want those guys that are four-phase guys. And most of the times when you get four-phase guys, those are either backups or third-string guys at positions. But for your team to be good and also to be bought into it, you got to show that you're willing to put starters on special teams as well. Early on, we're teaching them all right now. We very rarely do we go out there and do a special teams where everybody's not involved, except the O-line, quarterbacks, and select D linemen. But, the philosophy with Coach is going to be, hey, we want a starter to at least be starting on one special team, maybe even two. But we'll be smart about that as well. If they're getting huge reps on offense or if they're getting huge reps on defense, then their special teams role may be only one team. It may be two teams. But we'll be smart about that, and we'll still continue to try to build those four-phase guys from our depth.
Coach, I'm curious what your philosophy is. I know for the longest time, backup quarterbacks would be the holders. It seems like punters are doing it more now. It's what the previous staff did. Kind of what's your philosophy on who should be the holder?
A lot of reasons you'll see the punters become holders is because you got access to them the entire practice. The kickers also get very comfortable with them because they're constantly working with them. I do like to have quarterbacks work holding, though, because you never can have too many of them. But the reason why you would really go more of a specialist being the holder is because you have more access to them. And the kicker, the snapper, everybody gets a little bit more comfortable because they're constantly working with them.
A guy that is not with the football team right now because he's running track is Jelani Watkins. He's got obviously a ton of speed. Is he a guy that has been talked about as a potential return man, or is he maybe going to focus on receiver only whenever he comes over?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, anytime you got that type of speed, you want to see if he can be that, could be that return, be that dynamic returner for you. I think when you go into the philosophy of kickoff return and punt return, first and foremost, that our team should be able to tell you, and hopefully by training camp they will know how to tell you that the whole goal on both teams is to possess the ball, period. Give the ball to the offense. That's what we're doing. But anytime that you get a dynamic guy, you want to take advantage of that. So I think Jelani, he's definitely a guy that we want to take a look at just because of his speed. If he catches the ball really well as a returner, that would be something that we would want to look at.
And last one for me, I think I heard Coach Silverfield, so correct me if I'm wrong, but I think I heard that you're one of the assistants that isn't going out on the road to recruit. Kind of what's that like for you as a guy that has a background in recruiting? And then I guess is it maybe just a matter of because usually those specialists kind of come to you, for camps and things like that?
Well, early on, because of the rule, only 10 coaches could go out. Special teams was maybe more of a thing where you try to do it a little bit more in-house. The specialist world is a little different. You know, they're more likely to travel, come see you. They're more likely to come to your camp so that you can get them evaluated and see them in person. I think, though, the new rule now with being able to have 16 coaches dedicated to it, you know, again, you'd have to ask Coach Silverfield, but I think I'll have the ability to get out and actually go evaluate these guys during spring practice as well, and then get them on campus and do that too. So I think you'll start to see more special teams guys get out now because of the new rule. So again, whatever coach wants, that's what I'm going to do. And if it's to sit in-house and do it, we'll get them all here. If it's to get on the road, do that too. Just you know, whatever job he wants us to do, that's what we're going to do.
I guess I missed that rule change. You know when that happened?
Very recently. Very recently. I don't know what date, but it was probably a week or two ago. Yeah.
This is a long question, Chad, but I'm thinking back to the Auburn game here last year. They had the momentum going into the halftime because of the pick six. Second half kickoff, you guys returned it. And I wanted to ask you about, was that in your go zone? I don't remember where the kickoff started, goal line, wherever. But then I also think there was a second long return in that game. And can you maybe talk about what that meant for momentum for you guys and how that played into the go zone you have for kicker return?
Yeah, so early on in the game, I'll say we, because it was at Auburn at the time, but we had a return. We actually went with it, and we got on the sideline looking at the iPad like, wow, all right, we've got this if we'll execute a little bit better. So when we got in at halftime, we actually adjusted the go zone a little bit. I think, you know, you may go into a game and say, here's our go zone, right? But then when you kind of get into a game and you see what somebody's trying to do against you, they may be trying to do something different than what you practice. At halftime, we were like, okay, we got this. We're going to make this adjustment. At Auburn, the returner was Rayshon Pleasant, and we were like, hey, we got a shot at this. Here's where our go zone is now. Just to go back to that game, that was a really big momentum play for us because there was momentum going into half, and then we were able to hit a big return coming out of half that set us up to get a score. I think we ended up kicking a field goal, but it was able to put us there. Now, I will tell you this: if we would have executed a little bit better, it should have been a touchdown. And I'm still a little bit bummed out about that. However, you just continue to work with it and all that. Rayshon was one; he's a really good kickoff returner, and when you got somebody that's a good player like that, you want to try to take advantage of stuff. And so, yes, to answer your question, it was in the go zone, but it was just adjusted a little bit.